Hi everyone, come check us out on The Experience this Monday, August 8th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have new CC8 that just came in, more signed books, our classic version covers, CGCs, and so much more. Maybe even a giveaway, but you got to tune in to check out. So Rex will be here with John and Robbie. I might pop in if I feel like it, but for the most part, we'll all be here. Remember, Monday, August 8th, 6 p.m. Don't miss it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. How is everybody doing? Hope you had a great week. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you've had a great Sunday, because I know you're about to have a fantastic Sunday evening. We all are. Happy Sunday night, everybody. Welcome to the show, Rockin Robbie Live. Station, pop, pop, boom. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it going. This is the show where we talk about movies, pop culture, comics, and a whole lot more. We got a bunch planned tonight. It's going to be super, super fun. First up, we'll be talking about our favorite comic books from last week. We'll be looking ahead at what's coming up in shops this week, including the DC sneak peek. Going along with the John Carpenter chronological film watch. We're on Halloween, so we're starting Horror Fest just a little bit early. We're going to be talking about Youngblood #3 and Image in the 90s. Top 5 movies of 2012, a little bit of show and tell, all that and more. And even though we have a grandiose plan, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. So once you get in here, throw out a station, throw out a pop, pop, boom, throw out a hello, throw out whatever you like. Let's get this party going. Let's get it started. What do you want to chat about? Lots has been happening. We got the Batgirl cancelization, and what does that mean for the future of the DCEU? We got Sandman dropping on Netflix. You want to talk about this stuff? Throw it out there in the chat. I do want to say this. You can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, you should join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie, and you can check out for podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com, including links to merch and the upcoming Horny Time Horseshoe t-shirt based on our True Lies review. You can support the channel with Super Chat, which is always greatly appreciated, or over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there. But just being here, liking, sharing, subscribing, and participating in the chat is support enough. Thank you all so much. What's coming up here on the channel? First of all, we got PCP Action Fest rolling on through tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time. We're talking about Commando. We got a great panel of guests ready for that one, including Perry from Perry Comics, who I see in the chat, and, of course, including Jasmine from Geeks Unleashed. Very excited to unpack this action classic, Commando. And then on Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday night, we're talking about the Mortuary Collection, apparently an anthology horror film that's available on Shudder. We do have PCP mystery boxes still available. All the ones from last week have been shipped out, so if you purchased one last week, it's on the way to you. And now we got 10 more available. They are $30. You can email us at popculturephilosophers@gmail.com if you're interested. I'll send you an invoice. And that $30 does include shipping. They will be filled with comics, card packs, an original sketch from me, and other fun surprises. And one of them's got nothing but spiders. That's a joke that Hammer Time Holeshoe would like. Let's see who was up in the chat. We got Mars Comics first in the building tonight. Jorum's in the house. Pop, pop, boom. We got Perry Comics. What is up? We got Eric D in the house. We got Mark in the house. Nova 69, dudes. BJ's in the house. Time Told Station. Jackson's in the house. Been a minute since I've been here for a live station. I'll station right back to you, my friend. Third Rail is in the house. Entropy and Comics is here. Greetings to yourself, my friend. Hammer Time Holshoe's in the house. Scarpads Comic Trex is in the house. Fresh off of Dylan's Horror Show. Had a great show last night. Full Moon double feature. We talk about Puppet Master and we talk about Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bolorama. And I picked that one, so I was happy that more people seem to be digging in on that one. That's a favorite of mine. Check that out. That show after if you haven't already. Well, of course, we got the man himself, Horny Time Horseshoe. It's John. What is up, man? Manny has sent me the file, so I got to get that to you. Evil Face Bad is in the house. Evil Face Bad says, "Yo, no disrespect to the other heroes, but Nightwing earned the spot in being the new leader of the Justice League. Come on, you know it's true. You can't disrespect his level of experience." Cilio is happy to be here. What is up, my man? Good to see you. The artist formerly known as Jesse Say What is here. Almost forgot about the stream. Oh, shame. Buff Station, hell yeah. To all the people all over the world, we got CTA Frank in the house. And we got James. What is up? Everybody happy to be here. I'll go ahead and just start off with this. I really am enjoying Sandman so far. I am 4 episodes in. Now, obviously, I enjoy the comic book, of course. We've done the first 3 volumes of that on Comics Revisited. You should totally check those out sometime if you're interested. And I also am a big fan of at least Act 1 of the Audible audio drama because I was into that. And I've watched it, listened to it. I haven't listened to the second one yet. I have it on my Audible, but I haven't actually listened to it yet. But I was nervous about the show. I was nervous they were going to be changing shit and making it, different and trying to, make it more modern or whatnot. And 4 episodes in, I am pretty freaking satisfied with the Sandman TV series on Netflix. It's 10 episodes. It's basically book 1 and 2 is what it seems to be comprising of. They have to make some changes here and there with certain characters being more threaded throughout. Corinthian is one of them, for instance. But so far, they seem to be going pretty much issue by issue, and it's working, and I'm really liking it. I like the cat that's playing Morpheus. I like everybody in it. Everybody was worried about what's her name being Joanna Constantine, or my bad, Constantine, instead of John. It didn't change the story whatsoever, and it actually really worked, and it was fine. So that was cool. What's her name? I can't remember people's names anymore. What's her name? Who plays Lucifer? Not a problem there at all. I think the moment I really became a Sandman, when I was like, oh, I like this, was that Hope in Hell story. So that was the last episode I watched. That was this afternoon. And they handled that so well. I'm loving it. The one change that bothers me is the change about Matthew, the Raven. That's a little dumb, but whatever. It is what it is. But I like it. If you're watching Sandman, I would like to know, what do you think? I'm 4 episodes in, and I am rather enjoying it. I think it's good. It's not 100% perfect. It's got a couple things that kind of bother me. It's mostly involving Matthew, but it's not to the point of the detriment of the show. But there you go. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Comic Book Therapy is in the house. Station. Scarpet says, yeah, a lot of people say it's a good take on the 90s comic. I agree. It's really hitting all those notes. The first, it's going issue to issue so far. So I've watched 4 episodes. It's the 4 issues. In fact, actually, in episode 4, they thread in some stuff from issue 5 into it. So you I'm loving it. I'm loving all the performances. I'm loving the visuals of it. It's a visual treat. It's got a slow yet exciting, deliberate, and fantastical sense about it that I absolutely enjoy. I love it. Just, man, I'm just really happy with it. I'll tell you that. 4 episodes in, I am very happy. We'll see what they do, because we're about to be for me, I'm about to be wrapping up the John D stuff, and then we're going to go into The Touch of Her Wings or whatever, and then into The Doll's House, and that's a really solid story, so we'll see how they do that, but so far I'm excited. Evil Face Bad says, Sandman is fire. I'm on episode 5. Hell yeah. Episode 5 I'm very much looking forward to, because that issue, so if the Hope in Hell issue made me really start paying attention to Sandman when I was reading it for the first time, it was the 24/7 issue that I was like, damn, that was still is, I think, a rather disturbing issue. They just covered that on Cartoonist Kayfabe, I think, didn't they? Was that the issue? I think it was. Hey, Chaos is in the house. What is up, Chaos? How you doing? Mars says, Sandman was awesome. Spilio says, oh, good. I will watch Sandman now. Thanks, bro, for the update. Ugh, that's why I'm here. No, I really, really enjoy it. Jenna Coleman, that's her name. I remember her from Doctor Who. She played, was it Claire or Clara? Clara? Anyway, she is awesome, and she is a doll, but she plays Joanna Constantine, and it's not John, but it's still a Constantine, and the story still resonates the way that story does. And that story, I always felt, in the early issues of Sandman, that one was probably one of the more clunkier ones, the way it was written. I don't know. Just something about it just felt a little bit more clunky in that whole first volume, Preludes and Nocturnes. But in the Audible, that made me really kind of like feel the weight of what's actually going on and what it's actually saying about the character of John. And in this one, they encapsulate that perfectly, and having Joanna instead of John, and it's not like they gender flipped it or nothing. Neil Gaiman's like, this is just the next Constantine. Like, Sandman didn't wake up in 1989 in this series. He woke up in 2022. So I can see that. Like, it's whatever. I don't care, because it worked, and it worked really good. I would just wish she smoked a lot. That's the one thing, but whatever. That's John's thing, not Joanna's. Jesus, is it really Constantine? I mean, it is, but it's one of those words that's pronounced either way. It's like more British people call it Constantine. In the Audible, they said Constantine. I was like, I just don't like the ring of that. It's still Constantine to me. Did a tornado hit Tom Sturge's hair yet? I don't understand. Confused by that one. Patrick's Garage is in the house. What's good, everyone? What's good? Is everybody chilling? Just having a good old time here on a Sunday night. Talking about Sandman. If you've watched Sandman, what do you think about it so far? 4 episodes in, I'm really, really digging it. Bitch, that's Lucifer is an actor from Game. Yeah, I know. It's I can't even remember the character's name of Game of Thrones anymore. She's also Captain Phasma. She's awesome as Lucifer. Awesome. Scarpat says, it's been so long since I read Sandman. Doesn't Swamp Thing figure prominently? No, not in Sandman. John says, I binged watched it. I liked it, and I can live with the gender race swaps. It worked for me. No spoilers. All I'll say is, why did you get rid of my KFC? Fancy Pants says, I've never read Sandman, so I think I'll check the show out. Hell yeah. Taki's in the house. Station, pop, pop, boom. Taki got one of those PCP mystery boxes, unboxed it on his YouTube channel. Everybody should check out that video. If anybody wants to, please, one of you mods, throw out the link to Taki's video. I'm glad you enjoyed your box, homie. And as I said, boxes from last week have shipped out. We got a new round of mystery boxes going out this week. They got 10 available, $30 each. That includes shipping, comic books, and fun surprises. An original sketch from yours truly. I did Taki a Spawn. But if you're interested, email us at popculturephilosophers@gmail.com. They also come with these card packs we've been putting them in. I've been running low on these, so I got to get a new batch. But most people get a Batman pack, one of these two, or sometimes a Turtles pack, and even sometimes a Bill and Ted pack, because you know we got to have some Bill and Ted cards to be passing out in these mystery boxes. So y'all check them out. James says, haven't started Sandman, finishing up Umbrella Academy, haven't watched season 3 yet. So I was going to catch up on The Boys, and then I want to do a binge watch on Twin Peaks. I want to rewatch all of Twin Peaks, including the movie, and then finally watch the reboot, or not reboot, but the sequel series or whatever, right? I've not watched that, so I want to do that. But then shit keeps happening. So now it's like Umbrella Academy after Sandman. So we'll see what happens. That being said, I really like The Boys. I'm caught up on The Boys now. Loved season 1. 2 was good. Got a little draggy at times. 3, though, kind of brought it back up. So I thought 1 was still the best season, but 3rd was the second best, and then 2. But all enjoyable. Really, really liked that show. Corey says, watched episode 1 today, talking about Sandman. Loved it. Holy shit. You know it, man. Get Cloud Kickers in the house. Got here late again. How much, if the diner episode, did they change? I haven't gotten there yet. That's the next episode for me, which is episode 5. So I'm curious to see what they did with it. Because so far, they've been pretty faithful. I mean, they're making little changes here and there, but for the most part, it is incredibly faithful to the pace, to the unfolding of things. It is way more faithful than I thought it'd be. But Neil Gaiman is inherently, like, involved in it. Like, he's super involved in it, and you can tell. Mark says, it is very good. Some little things bug me, like Cain and Abel looking so similar, but they are minor quibbles. Watched all 10. Hell yeah. Kid Cloud Kickers on episode 10. Noir Wolf is in the house. Station. Sandman is pretty damn good, and there are a lot of other adaptations of other properties out there to remind us it could have been much worse. That's true. Mar says, I hope the rest of the episodes are just as good. Perry says, Sandman, like from Spider-Man? Nah, man. You're embarrassing me, Perry. Eric says, got to finish Paper Girls, then I'm diving right to see it, and I forgot about Paper Girls. God, it's too much coming out all of a sudden now. She-Hulk's about to start back up. And, of course, this last week, after I finished The Boys, my latest thing before Sandman came out was I watched this Oliver Stone documentary about JFK's assassination that apparently just recently came out. So I watched, there's apparently a series about it. It's really long, but I watched like this 2-hour movie. It was on Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime, like with Showtime, but I really, really liked it. So I'm diving in this JFK shit. We're going to be doing a JFK conspiracy episode on Manny's channel. We just did his first conspiracy theory themed episode last week. It was pretty fun. I was on there, of course. Moni's in the house. Station. I wasn't into the somewhat softening of Dr. Destiny, says Manny from Tomorrow Cinema. Yeah, at the end of 4, that was one thing that happened. But I'm interested to see where they take it, but I haven't finished it. I've only thrown through 4. Moni wants to know, is Paper Girls any good? Fell asleep on the first episode. Patrick has not watched any Sandman yet. They do say Constantine. It's the more British way to say it. Constantine. Hammer Time says, my only issue with the Sandman show was the odd product placement for Frosted Grape Pop-Tarts. Yeah, that was a bit odd to put in there, wasn't it? Kid Cloud Kicker says, I've never read the 24 Hours issue. Jordan wants to know, is there a stick of gum in the packs? Not in the Bill and Ted ones, but in these wax packs there are. And you can see the imprint of the gum on the Turtles one right there. And yeah, there's gum in there. Anybody ever opens these, if you want to eat the gum, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but I'd like to see someone do it. But I would not recommend that. Oh, Manny says, there is gum in them, Joram. We've eaten them on my show. Do not recommend. Mark's doing a Twin Peaks rematch right now. See, I want to do a rewatch. He's doing a rematch, man. He's setting those he's like, Twin Peaks. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. Doing a Twin Peaks rewatch right now. Soldier Boy, so cute. Soldier Boy is cute, isn't he? In your opinion, are the boys' omnibuses worth the price? If you're into the show, yes, it's a good way to get all of it together. I have all three of the omnibuses. They are really well put together. I haven't dived into them yet. I read The Boys when it first came out, but I quit somewhere around like the teens, right? So I've never gone back and dived in, but they are comparable in price to other omnibuses from like companies like DC and Marvel for its content. So I think they're fine. I think it's cool if it's something you're into. Otherwise, you can wait until they get the soft cover. There's 6 soft cover trade paperbacks that you can get that complete the series too. Those have been out of print. So as of right, I mean, the thing is right now, the first volumes of all this stuff starting to get out of print. So if you can find them, I would recommend it if you're interested. Brian says, I enjoyed Paper Girls. For me, it took a few episodes to get me into it. Then the last few episodes, I was hooked. Nice, nice. Touching scene with the gargoyle in Sandman really brought a tear to my eye, says Evil Face Bad. Yeah, it was designed to do that, wasn't it? Paper Girls is good too. I got up to the part where they had found a giant robot to get back home. So cool and out of nowhere. I remember I really liked the book. It was one of my favorite books going. I read it all the way through while it was coming out. I haven't revisited it since, and I want to do that, but I do want to check out the show. When will I get to Twin Peaks? I've also been wanting to rewatch Sopranos. I've also been wanting to watch Mad Men now because Dennis was talking to Mad Men about Mad Men with us. And then I only ever watched the first episode of Westworld ever. So, man, so much to revisit and watch. Noir Wolf says, I need to finish the Paper Girl hardcovers before watching the show. I've also only read the first Sandman omnibus, so the other two are now going to the front of the line to read. Those Batman card packs look dope. They are dope. They're just a cool novelty. I like seeing wax packs like this. They just take me back. Just take me back. And they have that feel. They're a little, they're waxy. Hey, Glenn's in the house station. That gum could give Robbie superpowers. I could be like Mr. Gum from the Atomics. Jorm says, you guys are the best. Make me laugh. Can we get a full look at your t-shirt? Little Linnea Quigley action never hurt nobody, right? Can I stream Twin Peaks online, all of it? Surely somewhere. Let's see. Twin Peaks. There's a restaurant called Twin Peaks, and we actually have one in town now. Streaming. Twin Peaks restaurant streaming. No, just kidding. It's on Paramount Plus. It looks like. Which I have. Okay, so Paramount Plus has the original series. And the new series, I think. Well, season 2's on Showtime on. Can you get the new one? Anyway, you can get the original one on Paramount Plus. If anybody else has some information, please share. Billy, you're the one hitting them deadlifts. Thank you. Noir Wolf says, Sopranos, best show ever. Make sure you watch the Log Lady intros. They are key to unlocking each episode. 100% Mark. I used to have the DVD set, and I remember that, and I would like never skip the Log Lady intros. Slapped and Americans in the house. Y'all see Robbie cutting line at C2E2 getting all the streamers in trouble. Tisk tisk. Nah, that wasn't me. I wasn't even at C2E2, but I'll tell you what, I was fucking at some point I started getting envious. Started seeing pictures, Tom and Bueller and Jim Mint all together, and a bunch of other people in the community and comic book creators, and man, I was like, damn, I want to be there. I want to be there. I want to go. I want to be there. I want to go. But we do have the next stop on the Rockin Robbie tour is actually happening next month. And that is, where the hell's the button? I guess I got rid of the button. I think I did. Anyway, we're going to Memphis Comic Expo at the end of September. Where the hell did I not? That's weird. Where'd that go? All right, riveting entertainment. Me being like, why did I delete that image? Neighborhood Merc says, my wife has never seen the Goonies. She made sure to tell me after we were married. Well, that was wise of her. But now it's your pleasure to introduce it to her for the first time. That's an honor, homie. You know what I'm saying? Rockin' Robbie, when can we get another Giallo for movie night? Bava or Argento? Joram, you're going to have an Argento flick sooner than you realize because Horror Festas are coming. And we'll actually have the full Horror Fest announcement here on Rockin' Robbie Live next week. And that includes Dylan's Horror Show. So I'm excited. But yes, guaranteed an Argento film in Horror Fest. Early in Horror Fest, too. So maybe 5 weeks away. Robbie, am I deep into the Archieverse? No. I used to read Archie books when I was a kid, like a lot of people did. Then I stopped reading them. When they did Afterlife with Archie, I read that. And I started trying to read Sabrina. I fell out of Sabrina. Both of those books are so lost. Some of the other Archie horror stuff I read. I like Vampironica. I think that's a good one. And then when Mark Waid and Fiona Staples redid it, I tried to stick with it for a while, but I couldn't. So no, I'm not super deep into the Archieverse. I would like to get some definitive collections though of some of the iconic strips from like different eras because it's a cool thing to. All right, we should be good now, hopefully. Y'all let me know when I come back. Anyway, happy to be here. Let me know when you can see me back. We back. All right, I am back. Yep, we lost connection somehow. That was wild. I had to just kind of sit here and wait. Back but super fuzzy. Damn it, Robbie, I wait for this show the whole week. Hey, me too. Me too. I wait for this show the whole week too. Am I fuzzy for everybody or is it just John? There may be a glitch in the Matrix. You may be right about that. No storms here right now. It seemed like they were threatening storms earlier. Clear for me, says Road Collecting. We're going to go on. It might be the aliens, dude, Perry. I was going wild on Manny's show on Thursday. So it just might be them aliens. All right, y'all. 30 minutes in, we've already had a drop in the internet service, and we haven't even done the first 5 yet, so let's kick it off. First 5. All right, we're going through the Blu-ray collection. We are still in the U's. First up is Unforgiven. This is an absolutely phenomenal movie. One of my favorite Westerns. Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman, Gene Hackman. Who else? Richard Harris is in this film. That's the OG Dumbledore. But there you go. Unforgiven. All right, next up is my Universal Monsters box set. They're individually cased. We're going to break them up. So yes, D is for Dracula. U isn't for Dracula, but it is for Universal Monsters. So split it up. Let's go. There's Dracula, the complete Legacy Collection. Of course, this has Dracula, Dracula's daughter, Son of Dracula, House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, and Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. It also has the Spanish language version of Dracula. They all have all the movies. I don't need to repeat it. But then we got Frankenstein. This is a really nice box set if you can ever find it on the cheap. And you can find it on the cheap. It will really, really pay it off. Then we got The Mummy, complete Legacy Collection. Right there. I love the Mummy movies. I did a commentary on every Mummy movie for Mummy Monday. We did that a couple years ago for Horror Fest. Then we got The Wolfman, complete Legacy Collection. So that has been your first 5. All right. And at the end of the night, when we do the final 5, we'll show you the rest of what's in that box set, including some other movies, as well as the box itself and what comes with it. All right, let's see what's going on here. Thunder rolls and the lightning strikes. Billy, did you know that was going to happen? Evil Face Bad says Unforgiven was good. I agree. Love that movie. Looks like we're starting to get people back into the stream after the weird drop in service. I wonder what it's going to look like on the replay. It's just going to freeze for like 5 minutes and then come back. That'd be weird. Jorm says, I have gotten into Archie horror. LCS owner said I would enjoy Archie versus Predator, both volumes. That book is fun. It doesn't take itself very seriously. It shouldn't, and it's fun in a Archie versus Punisher kind of way. I want to say I still have that. I have Archie meets Punisher. I have Archie meets the Turtles. I think there was a while I was trying to buy every Archie crossover, but I may at some point have gotten rid of all of them but the Punisher and the Turtles one. Spelio says Archie horror is amazing. Perry says, oh snap, I have that collection too. Isn't it cool? Yes. In fact, I used to have, John had gifted me one time the set that you can get that just has like the main movies, right? So Dracula, Bride of Frankenstein, Mummy, like all the main movies, not the sequels, except for Bride. And I had that for the longest time. And then that was on sale, like a crazy sale. I think it was, I don't know, it was some crazy sale Amazon was doing, and I had to snatch it up. And then I think I wound up sending mine to Manny in a mystery box, actually. The other one. Evil Face Bad says, Unforgiven was good, but don't get me wrong, it wasn't like The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly, or a few dollars more, of course. Well, those have a certain aesthetic that you don't really get at all anymore because they're Italian films, right? But, like, those movies have an atmosphere that is hard to replicate. And when people try, it comes across as parody. Unforgiven, though, does something really interesting with, like, the character of an aging gunslinger, which I really, really like. Where's the Creature from the Black Lagoon? It's still to come. That was the first 5, so we only showed 5 movies, so it will be in the final 5. Evil Face says, sorry, I think the Mummy cover is way better than the Wolfman, even though the Wolfman is still a great character. The Mummy cover is really, really amazing. We all got it coming. Love Unforgiven, says Mark. Hell yeah. Chocolate pecan glazed donuts? That sounds so good, Kit. Those sound amazing. Yeah, sounds like it was worth it, says Taki. Yeah, that does sound like an interesting pitch, Billy. Good luck with that. Evil says, Archie horror ain't that bad. I checked out Sabrina before and some of the other horror titles, but it's not better than DC horror comics for me. You ain't messing with Swamp Thing. You are right about that. Not a lot of books are on the level where Swamp Thing is right now. Evil Face Bad also says, Unforgiven is not topping Josie Wales for me. Sounds like we've got a Clint Eastwood fan in the house. Me too, buddy. Baymet's in the house. Station, how you doing? All right, it's time to talk about last week's comics. In fact, out of everything you read last week, what was your favorite comic book? In fact, what was your pick of the week? My pick of the week was Aquaman Andromeda issue number 2, which I don't have in my hand because I left my books at the shop. I forgot to grab them, so I don't have them. But Aquaman number 2, Aquaman Andromeda number 2, written by Ram V, with artwork by Christian Ward and lettering by Aditya Bidikar. I love this book. I thought that last week was kind of a light week. In fact, it was more just kind of interesting concept, poor execution, or disappointing ending with something like The Closet. But then DC was there. DC had some really solid stuff last week, and for me, what took the cake was Aquaman Andromeda. I really love how this book in the second issue starts to separate itself from its familiarity with the Michael Crichton novel Sphere. So basically, Sphere is about these scientists who have to go and explore this ancient alien craft that's under the ocean, right? That contains this mysterious sphere, and they don't know what's going on. And that's what Sphere is. That's what's happening here, but it starts kind of taking some twists and turns and differentiating itself away from Sphere, including with theme. I absolutely love the artwork. Christian Ward's doing some really cool stuff, making the atmosphere work in the murky underworld atmosphere of underwater. It is absolutely breathtaking, some of the color choices, especially when Black Manta pops up, and it gets very, very distinctly red and vibrant red in certain areas. It gives it a really great sense of design. It's got a great color palette. The lettering by Aditya Bidikar is top-notch, but what I love about this book so much is that Aquaman still maintains a mythical figure. It is more about the scientists who are exploring this phenomena, the organization who's put them there to explore this, and then, of course, just the magnificent wonder of what this alien technology is. You find out that it's something different than what they thought. It's got more of a connection to Aquaman and Black Manta. Black Manta is utilized incredibly well in this book, and especially visually. It is absolutely a fantastic book. Beautiful colors, luscious artwork, and a really solid theme. And the way that Aquaman maintains this mythical figure, it gives him and Black Manta this sense of epicness that really helps this rather grounded, fantastical story kind of soar to heroic heights. And it gets dark, and it gets melancholy, and all in all, it is super fun. And that is Aquaman Andromeda, issue number 2, and it was my pick of the week. What did you think of this book? If you read Aquaman Andromeda issue number 2, let me know what you thought about it and what was your favorite comic that came out last week. And also, as another question, were you disappointed by the ending of The Closet as much as I was? Holy cow. Let's take a look at the chat. Spilio says, I can't believe I've never heard about Archie meeting the Punisher. Bruh! You never heard of Archie meeting the Punisher? I'm pretty sure it's right up there in that box because all my shit's in order now. Man, there's 2 covers. There's like an Archie type cover, but then there's the die cut cover that I love. So it's like, I think it's the Punisher logo is the die cut part if I remember right, and you open it up. But holy cow. You got to get that book. I know you want both covers. What's crazy about the book is that all the Archie stuff looks like Archie, but the Punisher is drawn like a Punisher in a Marvel comic. But the Archie characters in the world of Riverdale are all drawn like Archie. And so Punisher Frank Castle shows up to Riverdale hunting down a criminal who looks a little bit like Archie. So he mistakes Archie for the guy he's hunting down in Riverdale. And I mean, If that doesn't show you how wildly weird comics were in the early 90s, there you go. Spelio says, Andromeda, pick of the week. Billy Powermax says, Punisher meets Archie is freaking awesome. When we go to a break, I'm going to try to remember to go up there and try to grab it. We definitely got to do that for Marvel in the 90s, don't we? Row Collecting's really enjoying Little Monsters number 6 from last week. It's been solid throughout the run. Taki says Flashpoint Beyond, weak. Edge of Spider-Verse was the best of the meh. Flashpoint Beyond was really good, though. I think DC had some really good books last week. Batman, Flashpoint, Dark Crisis. Y'all, I'm feeling it again, man. The biggest thing I had to do was just drop the stuff I wasn't enjoying. Which is why we only got 4 books on the DC sneak peek when we get to that. Rogue says, Aquaman was real good too. I really enjoyed the artwork. Hell yeah. Slapped in American says, Andromeda is dope. I'll be honest, my favorite book this week was X-Men Red. Mark says, Flashpoint Beyond number 4. Billy read Moon Knight and the Azrael one-shot. I like the Azrael series too. I'm liking that from Dan Waters. Dominic says, I thought the closet ended as well as it could have. The real monster was exactly what it should have been. I hated that guy. Well, you just had 3 issues that this guy you hate whining about his life. Spilio really enjoyed the Azrael book. Hell yeah. Row Collecting was real bummed with the ending of The Closet. I was hoping it would go on longer and have more to it. Yeah, that's how I feel. Evil Face Bad says, Dark Crisis. Nightwing definitely deserves leadership of the Justice League, and the Justice Society showing up was fantastic. I love every moment they bring in Dr. Fate. Road Collecting says Stillwater was solid. Interesting to see how they wrap it up. Interested to see how they wrap it up. Me too. Spilio says, I really believe that DC is killing it at the moment. Dominic says, Simpsons Treehouse of Horror Omnibus was an awesome package. Yeah, I didn't even know that was coming out. That seems really, really cool. Eric says, Stillwater was filler, but super enjoyable. Batman Stinger has me excited. And it seems like any time that Texas Blood comes out, it's my pick of the week. James says, just read the trade of 4 kids walk into a bank, enjoyed it a lot. Reverse Amoeba says, the Scumbag finale was fantastic. The Closet was terrible. Nova69 says, haven't read my full pull list yet, but my pick was Scumbag 14. Sobering and sad way to end a hilarious series. I was not ready for that. Interesting. Didn't Archie meet the 66 Batman? Yes. That was another one they did. Dominic says, I think Frankenstein New World would be my pick of the week. Cali Comics says, Survival Street was pretty funny. Yeah, it has a lot of potential. Remember Punisher meets Dawson's Creek? No, I don't remember that one, Billy. Mars hasn't read anything yet, still catching up. Hey, we got Sleepy Reader 666 in the house. Station, Damien, how you doing? Good to see you. Spilio says, need to get Archie meet the Punishers. Thanks, brother. Yeah, you're welcome. I can't... kind of Punisher fan are you, Spilio? I'm just kidding, man. No, you got to get that one. Slapped an American says, and the Ice Cream Man Sunday edition was fire, fire, fire. Santos' sister from Floating World is a fun take on the Archie comics tropes, says Dominic. Billy. Jackson says, yo, sucks they only bring in Hal Jordan when everyone else is dead. Well, that's what happens when you have too many Earth-based Green Lanterns. Really surprised DC okayed the Azrael script. And Dark Crisis has been really disappointing for me, says Mark. The book is stuck in neutral. I'm enjoying it. It does feel like we're still in prelude mode, though. So it definitely needs to kick it up, and I think it will when it officially is retitled on the next issue with Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths or some shit like that. Whatever. Hell yeah, y'all. All right, time to look ahead at what's coming up in shops this week. As we go through the list. Think about it. What are you most looking forward to? We got Amazing Spider-Man number 7, Avengers 59, Superman Son of Kal-El 14, Axe Judgment Day number 2, Punisher number 5, King Spawn 13, Harley Quinn 19, Batgirls number 9, Batman Urban Legends 18, Venom Lethal Protector number 5, Jurassic League number 4, Star Wars Bounty Hunters 26, Black Panther number 8, Captain America Sentinel of Liberty number 3, I Am Batman number 12, Dark Crisis Worlds Without a Justice League Green Lantern number 1. Pain in the ass title there. Predator number 1, finally seeing the light of day. I heard that Prey movie's really good, actually. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard that Prey movie's good. I definitely need to check that out. 8 Billion Genies number 4. Star Wars Han Solo and Chewbacca number 5. Future State Gotham 16. Captain Carter 5. Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor number 3. Deceased War of the Undead Gods number 1. Ghost Rider Vengeance Forever number 1. X-Men Legends number 1, a relaunch of that series. Roy Thomas doing a story about Wolverine before we saw Wolverine in Hulk 180 and 181. Power Rangers number 22. Miss Marvel and Wolverine, a one-shot comic. Slumber number 6. Nubia, Queen of the Amazons number 3. A Town Called Terror number 5. Naomi season 2 number 6. Giant Size Gwen Stacy number 1. Starhenge book 1, The Dragon and the Boar number 2. Love Everlasting number 1. Excited to check that Tom King Elsa, what's her name? Elsa Chatier or something. Excited for that. Wonder Woman 790. Hellboy and the BPRD 1957 Falling Sky number 1. Avengers and Moon Girl one-shot comic. Parker Girls number 1. That's a new Terry Moore book. I didn't even know about that. 007 number 1. That's right. James Bond from Dynamite Comics, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. I'm excited for that. Blood Syndicate season 1 number 4. Astronaut Down number 3. Mindset number 2, Draculina number 5, Prodigy the Icarus Society number 2, Unnatural Blue Blood number 2, Elvira in Horrorland number 3, Blade Runner Black Lotus number 1, There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd number 2, Sheena Queen of the Jungle number 8, Samurai Doggy number 1 from Aftershock, The Ward number 3, Absolution number 2, The Killlock the Artisan Wraith number 6, Bill and Ted Roll the Dice number 3, The Deadliest Bouquet number 1, Red Sonja Fairy Tales number 1, Archer and Armstrong Forever number 4, Cities of Magic number 4, Dark Beach number 5, Vampirella Fairy Tales number 1, Dungeons and Dragons 2022 Annual, Cover the Dead with Lime number 1 from Blood Moon Comics, G.I. Joe Real American Hero Best of Storm Shadow, Isom number 1, Rivers of London, Deadly Ever After number 3, Frankenrocker and the Jailbait Punks number 3. Ooh, I got to get that. I got 1 and 2, but I haven't read them yet. But I need to check that out. Blind Alley number 4, and we're going to call it at Tiger's Tongue number 2 from Mad Cave Studios. So that's what's coming up this week. What are you excited for? For me, I don't know, honestly. Thinking about that list, there's some interesting enough books. Kingspawn, I mean, maybe. I don't know. What are y'all most looking forward to? Elvira in Horrorland. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that one. The 007 one as well, actually. Anyway, let us know what you're most looking forward to coming up in shops. And we'll be right back after this quick break here on Rockin' Robbie Live.
everyone. Come check us out on The Experience this Monday, August 8th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have new CC8 that just came in, more signed books, our classic version covers, CGCs, and so much more. Maybe even a giveaway, but you got to tune in to check out. So Rex will be here with John and Robbie. I might pop in if I feel like it, but for the most part, we'll all be here. Remember, Monday, August 8th, 6 p.m.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. This is the show where we talk about comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. When we last left you, we were looking at what was coming up in comic shops this week, and I asked you, what are you most looking forward to? We'll get to those comments in a second. If you haven't dropped your comment, please do right now, because this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns, even though we got a great plan, because coming up in this segment, we've got the DC sneak peek, we've got Image in the 90s, and we've got the next stop on the John Carpenter chronological movie rewatch journey, Halloween. All that and more coming up here. But this show, like I said, driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. Get them in right now. Check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcast merch and a whole lot more. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can follow us also over on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can support the channel with Super Chat, which will trigger a Joker video and maybe a little bit of a song and dance number. And also, you can support us at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there. You can unlock exclusive content, like, for instance, you get, as any level of Patreon membership, you get the downloadable audio version of the weekly comic book review hours before it drops on YouTube. You get the first to know what the pick of the week is before the Rockin Robbie effect gets put out there. I don't know, man. Just bullshitting. But just being here, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that is support enough. What's coming up here at the channel? We got Commando rolling on through with Action Fest tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time. Join me in an astounding panel of guests as we talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando. Last week we did True Lies, and it was one of the best episodes of PCP Movie Night ever. I highly encourage everybody to check it out. And for Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday, we're talking about the Mortuary Collection. It's an anthology horror movie available on Shudder. I've never seen it, but I heard about it. But before that, tomorrow night, join us for Commando at 8 p.m. Central Time. We need your help. We want to end Action Fest on a slam bang explosion. We got 2 weeks left. This is the penultimate Action Fest 2022. PCP mystery boxes are now available. Anybody who purchased one last week, it is now on the way. But we got a new batch, a new round of 10 available. $30 each. That includes comics, trading cards, an original sketch from me, and even more surprises. Email us at popculturephilosophers@gmail.com. If you are interested, we'll send you an invoice. You pay it, we ship out your box. And that's what we got going on, yeah. That's what we got going on. All right, let's see what people are really looking forward to. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Ba-dum. All right, Slapton American is really looking forward to Predator #1. Two Gun Pedro's in the house. Pew, pew, pop, pop, boom. Station, man. What is up? Road Collecting says Prey was solid for sure. Slapton American says Prey was sick, Robbie. Haters be damned. I'm hearing most people say they love it. Jelani gave 5 out of 5 you digs. Road Collecting says, I really like that actress in the Legion show too. You don't see her much. Eric says, watched Prey last night. Second best Predator movie in my opinion. I've heard that a lot too. John's looking forward to, or Spilio's looking forward to 8 Billion Genies. Me too. If I look at the list, it's probably that one I'm most looking forward to because that book has actually been a treat. Evil Face Bad says it's all about Predator and Star Wars for me. I guess this new comic book week. I got it. I read that wrong. Eric says Sentinel of Liberty and Mindset are the ones that stand out to me. Didn't expect to enjoy a Cap book this month. The conspiracy aspect is intriguing. I like the conspiracy aspect. I just need it to be delivered in a more like, this book needs to like pop a little bit more. And that's something that Lanning and Kelly with their books kind of get slowed down by like long narration. It gets overly verbose and it kind of hinders it. And the action scenes don't pop for me. So that's something I would like, I think could really work some of their shit out better. Spio's looking forward to Elvira in Horrorland. Yeah, me too. That's been really cool. This is the Alien issue. Dominic's most looking forward to Predator and Love Everlasting. Also, the two titles I feel are most likely to disappoint me. Love Everlasting it seems like a really cool concept, and I really like the artist there, so we'll see what happens. Mark's looking forward to Kill Lock, Hawk the Slayer, Predator, and it says Prey is pretty fantastic. Tacky's looking forward to Deceased. Two Gun says, I'm excited for Horror Fest. Have you revealed the lineup yet? No, we're revealing the Horror Fest lineup next week on Rockin Robbie Live. But I think you already know Dylan's side of it. Eric says, I hope that the movie Michael Morisi wrote ends up on the Horror Fest list. Really dig his comic work. Spoilers, but no. Revealer did not make it on the list, but it is something I plan on watching and reviewing here on Rockin Robbie Live at some point in the near future. Because yes, I am also a big Michael Morisi fan. Scarpet says, the scary time of the year. You say the scary time of the year. I say it's the most wonderful time of the year. Hey, we got Mark from Geeks Unleashed in the house. I'm not normally up this late anymore, but notice you're on live. Thought I'd say hello. Well, hello and station. It's my birthday. Is it really, Mark? Is it your birthday? Maybe where you are, but where I am, I bet it's not your birthday yet. I bet your birthday hasn't arrived yet. It's on the way. It's in the Atlantic Ocean, I'm sure, and it's barreling my way. It's like Mark's birthday, Mark's birthday, Mark's birthday, but it's not here yet. So let's slow our fucking roll, okay? No, I'm just kidding. Happy birthday, Mark Station. And if your birthday is today for me, well, Station, happy birthday. But it's no longer your birthday. Empire Comics is in the house. Station, what is up? Robbie gone for a shit? Nah. It's the normal breaks we do here on Rockin' Robbie Live. Come on, man. Yeah, if you go back into the day, I used to just like be like, guys, I really got to pee. I'm just going to go pee. And I would just like go and leave the camera and it would just be focused on my background. I'd be like, I got to go. I'll be right back. That's like, what if I put like an image with some music or something? And then one day I was like, what if the image moves in a loopy kind of way? Afro X is in the house. Ouroboros Snake is in the house. Jesse is in the house. We talked a little bit about Sandman already, Jesse. I'm 4 episodes in. I'm loving it. I'm probably going to watch episode 5 when we're done here because I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with 24/7. But I'm loving it so far. Slapped in American says, am I the only one who liked the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? No. My buddy Mike Matthews, actually, Mike06 from the PCP crew. Excitable we are. We are the PCP crew. Really, really liked it. I've not watched any of that show, but we are talking about Ninja Turtles feature films next week for the finale of Action Fest. We're not going to include that one, but I watched a Turtles movie today that I'd never seen. And it was Out from the Shadows, or Out TMNT Out of the Shadows, or whatever. It's the last one they did where Arrow was showing up trying to be Casey Jones. Yeah, I'm going to tell you this. Casey Jones blew in that fucking movie. That sucked. Everything else, though, I kind of like that Turtles movie, y'all. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like that Turtles movie. Big fucking surprise for me. So I watched 2016 or whatever? I watched the first one, the Michael Bay produced one. And I thought it was okay, but I didn't really dig on it that much. But the sequel, aside from like Casey Jones sucking ass, like majorly sucking ass, and Shredder being cool and then not being cool towards the end, like, I don't know. I really liked TMNT Out of the Shadows. Is it Out of the Shadows or Out from the Shadows? I really rather liked it, y'all. I'm just going to tell you that. I was rather surprised how much I liked that Turtles movie. All right, what else is going on here? Looking forward to catching up on my trade paperbacks of Oblivion Song with the finale and Noctera Volume 2. Hell yeah. Mindset and Punisher for sure, says Time Told. Empire, I have not seen Prey yet. I need to watch it. I considered watching it today instead of Halloween. I was like, instead of doing Halloween today, I could do it. But I want to get on the John Carpenter shit. I got to. And I did watch 2 movies today because I watched the Turtles movie and I watched Halloween. So, I really, that last Turtles movie they did, that last live action one, the one with like the shitty Casey Jones, that movie's good. That movie's good. That's one of the best Turtle movies I've seen. It's not the best. It doesn't hold a candle to the original. But it's better than Turtles in Time. And we got Bebop and Rocksteady. I'm just going to say that movie is good. Anybody else watch that? What'd y'all think? Curious. William is in the house working, but still caught the live stream. Flash Gordon, jump! Hell yeah. Afro X looking forward to One Piece 1057 and the movie One Piece Film Red. It's on the 8th of August, so for me it is. Hell yeah, Mark. Happy birthday. Hey, and we got a super chat from Spilio. Put this toward next year's MegaCon event. Bruh, thank you so much for the super chat. sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters. Shit. Now he fights with the man who's a fish named Eddie. Now he fights with a fire starter named Liz and an ectoplasmic mess named Johann. PPRD, yeah! Thank you so much, Spillio, for the super chat. We really do appreciate all the support. It really helps us out. Thank you, my man. That's another thing from that TMNT movie, Bebop and Rocksteady. My man. Bro, I'm telling you, I really like that movie. I know a lot of people probably didn't watch that movie because they watched the movie before, or they just never watched any of them, like me. I was like, I'm not even watching those movies. I like that last one. Just gonna say. Spillio, thank you so much for the super chat. Have I ever seen Kill List? No, I have not. Did anybody here catch those milk and cheese figures? No, I didn't see any. Evan been doing some of those? What are your thoughts on X-Men 92? What are we talking about, X-Men 92? Are we talking about the comic book series, the House of 92? I dropped out of it after the first issue. I didn't care. Like, all the X-Men stuff just wasn't working for me, and I was like, I don't want to see a redo of the whole goddamn House of X thing again, because it just still pisses me off because they've abandoned the plan and they're just sitting around doing what they're doing, Krakoaing it up. And I don't care anymore. Anyway, as far as the animated series, I love it. My boy just threw on Sandman Now. First episode is too fire. Hell yeah. Really good. One of my favorite things about this community, and I think that the PCP Army, we have one of the best communities out there. The entire comic book community is great, but what we have here on Sundays is something incredibly special. But when somebody throws out a super chat and everybody thanks them, that's awesome. Maybe it's because you're excited we're getting a Hellboy song. Maybe it's because you're excited that, I don't know. But thank you so much. Eric says that should be the tagline on the DVD cover for that TMT movie. It's not Turtles in Time. That's true. Mark says, I watched the first two today, and I'm halfway through Turtles in Time. I hate that they changed April O'Neil. Love the original Casey Jones, though. Yeah, me too. They change April in every fucking movie, don't they? But I'm telling you, I was not looking forward to the new ones. And, you know, the first one's, but the second one, but I would tell y'all something. Don't go watching Out from the Shadows or whatever and to be like, Robbie sent me here, and then be like, Casey Jones fucking sucks, bro. Yeah, Casey Jones in that movie fucking sucks. Did anybody ever read a fucking TMNT comic? Or even watch the fucking cartoon? Like, what the fuck? Like, Casey Jones sucks in that show. In that movie. Jesus. Anyway. Those original Activision games were top tier. Hell, yes, they were. All right, y'all. Comics come out this week from DC. I've read some of them. It's going to be a short one. But it's time for your one and only DC Sneak Peek. And we're going to kick it off with Blood Syndicate, Season 1, Number 4. This is written by Jeff Thorne. Artwork by Chris Cross, Sean Damian Hill, Will Quintana. On the last issue, I said this warrants a reread because I'm starting to get confused. I'm still digging the book. I like the book, but I was getting confused and I was losing the plot. I felt lost in it, right? And I didn't do a reread, but I decided I'd read issue number 4 anyway. And some of it ironed out, and I really enjoyed this issue more than issue number 3, but I am feeling a little bit disconnected, a little lost, a little like four issues. Who are our main characters? What's going on? There's a lot going on in this book. So it's something that's definitely going to re-warrant or would probably be better on a reread. But issue 4 I enjoyed, but I am kind of like, what's the focus of the book? What's the focus? Then we got Jurassic League issue number 4. We got more artwork from Juan Gideon here, but he is joined by another guy, Mikel. Let's see, it's John Mikel. So it's hard to kind of tell where Gideon starts and stops and where Mikel starts and stops, but it's kind of also easy to tell because of the use of the different screen tone effects that Gideon likes to use. That being said, I wish this book had more consistent artwork, but I really did like this. This was another fun issue of Jurassic League. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but if it did take itself even a modicum of seriousness, it is with this issue. This is the slowdown issue, the reflective issue, and setting some things up, but also a big reveal at what the big threat is. And it's fun. It's the Justice League as dinosaurs. But I did like the art here, even with the filler artist that was going back and forth with Juan Gideon. I liked it better than the last one. I felt it was more in the flow of the series. Then we got Dark Crisis, Worlds Without a Justice League, Green Lantern. So the Justice League have died, but they haven't really died. They actually have been sent by Pariah to these other realities that he's created, these worlds specifically for them where they're living out their fantasies. Like in the Superman one, Superman's living in a world where he gets to see Jonathan grow up. He gets to be a father to Jonathan. He doesn't get whisked away and come back as a teenager, right? In this one, it's Green Lantern John Stewart's ideal world, and I guess it's a world where people actually accept him and care about him, and he's the biggest hero out there. I don't know. It didn't really do much, at least in the Superman book. It kind of like said something about the character and his current place in DC, right? Like the fact that one of his biggest longings and regrets is that he didn't get to see Jonathan grow up. With here, it doesn't really add much to John Stewart's character. It doesn't quite have that nice little twist at the end to kind of tie it in to Dark Crisis. And the Hawk Girl backup story was okay, but not essential at all for your enjoyment of Dark Crisis. Just kind of a secondary auxiliary title. And then we got Deceased, War of the Undead Gods. This is the third and final volume of Deceased. Now, we've had these ones in between, like the Unkillables and shit. I've liked Deceased. Tom Taylor's done a great job of crafting an Elseworlds alternate take on the DC universe. Kind of like, this book could have easily been something like Marvel Zombies, but it goes beyond that because it actually deals with tragedy, stakes, scale, ramifications, and even humor and heroism. And so what you get here is the promise that now the new gods are getting involved in this. And it's all the whole zombie plague kind of thing, the anti-life plague. It starts with Darkseid, but what about New Genesis? What happens if New Genesis gets infected? And so we're picking up on the threads that were left from the last issue. This issue, though, as a first issue, it was kind of weak. It delivered some interesting stuff, but it was mostly felt like a setup issue. Didn't really feel like it went there and did it for issue number 1. I felt like this would have been a nice, like, issue number 2. Could have had something a little bit bigger, but I do like the setup for what's to come and some big things happening in there. So I only read 4 books, so Blood Syndicate, liking it, but so many characters, so many things going on, it's losing focus for me. Jurassic League, loved this issue, probably my favorite DC book of the week. The artwork was a bit more consistent in this issue. Then we got Dark Crisis, Green Lantern. It was all right, kind of a throwaway story, to be honest with you. And then Deceased, War of the Undead Gods, number 1. Not a great issue number 1, but a really great setup for what's to come. And that has been your DC Sneak Peek. So there you go. Joram says, the Hellboy song allows us to hip thrust and cha-cha for good reason. Where did the last hour go? Spilio says, anybody else reading Jurassic League? I am. Joram says, yes, John, I'm reading it, and it's fun. Dominic says, I'm enjoying Justice League, or Jurassic League. It's silly, fun, and neat art. Jackson says, yeah, Jurassic League is fun. They can definitely make action figures out of those characters. Yes, and they should. Packaged with snippets from these comics, kind of like old school Masters of the Universe or something. That would be cool, right? All right, so how's everybody doing? What do y'all want to chat about? Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum. Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. All right, the Batgirl thing. So I think our buddy Chris posted up in the PCP Army earlier today a little bit more information about that. And it's not so much, apparently now what's coming clear is it's not so much that they were failing and tanking test screenings, one could say. But what was happening was that movie was so cemented into this new version of the DCEU that was supposed to spawn out of Flashpoint, that to change it to make it kind of stand on its own, DC apparently is willing to do standalone movies. Batman, Joker, those are standing on their own outside of the big timeline that they plan on doing. But Batgirl would have cost too much extra money for what the release was going to be to justify spending it to make the movie work on its own, because it was too connected to a direction that was no longer going to be in effect. At least that's what we're hearing now. But what do y'all think? Are you excited that Batgirl got canceled? Are you pissed? I think that, to me, it signifies that somebody finally at DC is like, let's really take a look at things. Let's actually have focus. And I think that that's what I like about it. The Keatonverse. Yeah, I think they were going to call it their Flashpoint verse or whatever, right? Cheeseburger Basket's in the house. Hey, you elevated. Good evening, Robbie. Hope all is well. Hope everything is fuck. Cannot read tonight. Good evening, Robbie. Hope all is well, and everyone else too. Hell yeah. I want to know what y'all think about the Batgirl thing. I think it's good that they care about a direction. They want to do a 10-year plan. They want to have a vision. They want to have these movies be connected. They're willing to have movies not be connected, like Batman, like Joker. But Batgirl, apparently, to make it self-sufficient, like on its own and self-contained, would have cost some money. Patrick's Garage 94 says, I just want good DC movies. That is a very level-headed way to look at it, because that is 100% the truth, I think. We just need good movies. And if Batgirl wasn't going to be that movie, that's fine. If Batgirl was going to be that movie, shame. But if that movie was super good, with super positive reaction, they would have found a way to release it. Eric says, completely indifferent over the Batgirl news, but fear not, they have their fourth 10-year plan, so. Well, maybe they'll actually commit to it this time. Because, one thing DC needs to do is commit to the fucking bit. Two Gun says, I actually didn't know they were doing a Batgirl movie. Spilio says, is the Keatonverse dead? They added Affleck to Aquaman and taking out Keaton. Yes. The Keatonverse is dead because the Keatonverse was meant to set the Keatonverse was meant to set up a world, allegedly, I believe, and what I've heard, where the two main components weren't Superman and Batman, but Supergirl and Batgirl. But you're still going to get Michael Keaton in the Flash movie, and also heard that, yes, they want to distance themselves from Ezra Miller. They are even contemplating using CG to change Ezra Miller, is what we're hearing, what's being reporting, or something like that, right? So, like, kind of like what they did with Kevin Spacey. Was it Kevin Spacey that was in that movie, and then they got Christopher Plummer, and they just, like, CG'd his head onto him or some shit like that? Or using Flashpoint to change Barry Allen by the end of the movie. But the idea is they're stuck with Flash. Flash is going to launch what the next phase of this plan is, the next phase of DC EU. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But the idea is this. Initially, Flashpoint was going to undo the Snyderverse, set up a new continuity. Call this the Keatonverse if you want to. Keaton would be back as Batman, but old and retired. Batgirl takes his place. Superman's old and retired, possibly dead, who knows? Supergirl takes his place. The Supergirl that was going to be introduced in Flashpoint. Batgirl was supposed to be a post-Flashpoint movie to help that was going to be in that status quo. They brought in Michael Keaton for the passing of the torch aspect to Batgirl. That's no longer the plan. Their plan is to just have a vision, continue forward with the Snyderverse. They have a string of some moderate successes and some hits between Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, hopefully Black Adam, Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker. So the idea is not bringing Snyder back necessarily, but letting these versions of the characters live on for a 10-year plan and actually give us something. I'm thinking that would be really fucking cool. But what if that's the case? Here's the question I want to ask. What version of Justice League is canon? What version of Justice League is canon? But it all goes back to one thing that Patrick said. We just need good movies. We just need good movies. But I am excited to hear that they have direction. They want to get a plan together. There's almost like they're just like, you know what, guys? You're right. We were wrong. We're gonna step back. We're gonna stop this Batgirl movie. We're gonna do something. We'll see. Let's see what y'all were saying. Ouroboros says, that direction was going to be rough. No Superman or Batman would have been crazy in a DC cinematic universe. I just need to see Cavill as Superman again. Yes, and I think they know that we want Cavill as Superman again. Dominic says, canceling Batgirl is stupid. Just put it out there. Who cares what it's tied to or not? Patrick says, let them write off the $90 million plus as a loss and just move forward. Cheeseburger says, I just hope the people with power really do have a clear vision, maybe an outline. Joram says he has a box of Fruit Brute. Oh, yeah, I do. Fruit Brute's back this year. You can get them right now at Sam's Club. You can get Frankenberry, Blueberry, Count Chocolate, and Fruit Brute in a pack together. Fruit Brute. So glad it's back. It's not the original flavor. I never had the original flavor. It's a fruity cereal, so I'm thinking something like Trix, Fruity Pebbles. When it came back like in 2013, it was a cherry-based cereal, and that's the same formula is what I've been hearing. Haven't opened it up yet to try it. Neighborhood Merc says, I feel more people are hyped over the cancelization of Batgirl than they were hyped about the movie before cancelization was announced. I agree. Mark says, but we've got a third Wonder Woman, a second Shazam, Black Adam, Aquaman 2. Batgirl was a part of that. I wonder if Batgirl was too connected to the Flash movie. But they weren't going to be. The thing is, Batgirl wasn't going to be a part of that. All those movies were going to come out, and then Flash movie was going to undo the Snyderverse and restart the new post-Flashpoint DCU. And Batgirl was supposed to reflect that. They don't want to go in that direction anymore. They're cool with standalone movies outside in their own universes like Batman or Joker. This is what we're hearing, what's being reported to us. But in order to make Batgirl its own standalone in its own universe movie, it would have cost probably $20, $30, $40 million more. They didn't want to do that. Eric says, let James Gunn oversee a new movie universe and handle the top-tier team-up movies. Well, not too bad of an idea, right? Assume they're going to tank the Flash or Ezra. The idea is that they're thinking right now about the costness of replacing Ezra, but regardless, Ezra will be written out through his own fucking Flash movie. Mark says, I equally want good DC movies. I want someone intelligent in charge. Jackson says, oh yeah, seems like everything's falling apart at DC and Warner Brothers, but hopefully it will turn out with this 10-year plan. Ouroboros says, Lucas Till would be a great Barry Allen. He was Havoc in the X-Men films. Hey, Bueller! Miss you too, buddy. I was getting super jealous of everybody up in Chicago this weekend. I saw a picture of you, Jim, and Tom, and I was like, I should be there. I should be there. Next year, baby. Next time, baby. Any news on the Blue Beetle movie? No news yet. We'll see. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I heard that it was maybe, but I haven't heard anything aside from that. So I think maybe it'll be fine. We'll see what happens. Good to see you though, Bueller. Hope everything's well with you, bro. I hope you had a great time in Chicago. Chicago. I'm telling you, I've never been jealous before, like, about YouTubers and shit, really, until I saw a picture of fucking Bueller, Tom, and Jim. And I was like, I should be in that picture. God damn it. We all got to wind up at the same show together. I got to make that happen. Because y'all ain't going to go to Heroes Con. It's going to be wherever Whatnot's going to be at, right? That's the secret. How do you get all of y'all together? How do we get all four of us together? I got to find out where Whatnot's at. And the three of y'all will be there probably. Next time, baby. Mark says, I saw a news article the other day that Ezra is starting his own cult or something. Assumed DC wants to. DC's so fucking fucked, man. They don't know. Like, I just feel bad sometimes for him, man. Hey, William, it's just like, it's like, maybe William should work for DC. Keep the core of the characters from the comics, make good movies. It seems pretty simple, right? Seems pretty simple. Joe's in here saying Batman 126 and Peach Momoko Demon Wars were my pick of the weeks. Hell yeah. I would not cancel The Flash. There's a lot more tied up in that, but I think that what they're going to do is, what we're hearing, what's being reported to us, is that they are going to use the Flash movie to undo Ezra Miller's Flash. That's fucked up, man. You finally get to be like the dude who gets to be the Flash in the first Flash movie, and your shit has caused so much of a storm that your whole point of your movie is to undo you. That's fucked up. Hey, we got the second greatest comic book reviewer on OnlyFans in the house, Nick Comic Culture. What is up? Nick says Ezra is out 100% after this Flash movie. Didn't that movie cost something like $200 million? They won't write that much off. Yeah, you're right. Now, Mutant Way, I have not watched Prey yet, but I am looking forward to. I hear good things. Oh, Bueller, you suck up. He says, love hanging with Tom and Jim, but hanging with Robbie is way better. Imagine the four of us together. Can you imagine the four of us on karaoke? Can you imagine getting Jim Mint to karaoke? He'd do some Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know he would. He'd be up there. He'd be like, boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do when there ain't nowhere to hide. Now what you gonna do? Cause it's gonna come. Like, I'm gonna miss everybody. Bueller, we got to make that happen. Taking Jim Mint to karaoke. I bet that dude's never done karaoke in his life. I think that was Bueller's first time doing karaoke, right? Killed it. Pulled out some Bob Dylan. How does it feel? Do, 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 do. Hell yeah, Bueller. Love you, buddy. Oh, Nick just ran out of baby oil, so if anybody can support him over at onlyfans.com/NickComicCulture. There's the man right there. Twitch, what's up? They're considering reshoots and digital editing to get rid of Ezra from The Flash. There you go. That's what's being reported to us. Oliver says, I loved Killing Time, honestly. I hear that from some other people that they really liked Killing Time. Maybe I'll have to go back and check it out. We'll see. Bueller says, Tom and Jim are busy doing Whatnot streams. Robbie and I would just go have fun all day. You know it. Robbie would do Ace of Base or Hanson. I've never done Hanson. I wouldn't do Hanson. I would do Ace of Base, though. I would do Ace of Base. All that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow, but all that she wants is another baby. Oh, hey, hey. She leads a lonely life. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. You know, me and Jim used to sing on the top 10 video when we did that. I used to get Jim singing. Hammer Time Holshoe says, I heard Ezra is being replaced by Jelani in reshoots. That would not be a bad idea. But the problem is he's got a film with Ben Affleck. Like, Jelani, it's your big break. You're going to be the Flash. You got a film with Ben Affleck tomorrow night. Mark, I love you to death. I'm so tired of hearing this, but Mark says, make Grant Gustin the main Flash. He's a much better choice. At least we know the actor isn't insane. That's cool and all. No, get somebody else, man. We don't need a TV actor to fucking... Come on. I just watched Arrow fucking play the shittiest Casey Jones I've ever seen in any media. Like, so, yeah, no. Bueller says, got my next karaoke song pick, Gunslinger by Tom Petty. Bruh, here's the thing. You can get disappointed when they're like, we ain't got it. You got to do like Last Dance with Mary Jane or Free Fallin', Refugee, American Girl. You got to do the ones that everybody, those are the ones they know. It's the hits. Think about this, Bueller. When you go into karaoke, you got to flash back to when we were kids and we'd watch TV late at night and we'd see all those fucking Time Life collections of best of the 70s and 80s, like all those commercials for those record collections, right? And they'd be like, featuring such hits like blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. That's what they got at karaoke machines, man. That's what you got to think. So Gunslinger, maybe not so much, but if you wanted to do, you don't have to live like a refugee, you could do that, and me and Jelani would be right behind you going, don't have to live like a refugee. We'd even do the ear thing, bro. You know us, man. We wild, man. We do it. We do it, brother. We do it real, man. Jim Man gets up there. He's all nervous at first. And then he's like, get up, wake up, wake up. It's the first of the month. He gets into it and shit. That's what I love seeing. I love seeing Brooks do karaoke. I've never seen this motherfucker like this. When he's like, holy diva. Like whoa. Whoa, I'm scared of Brooks all of a sudden. Jesus. Dominic says, my go-to karaoke is Build Me Up Buttercup by The Foundation. Nice. Twitch says, Grant recently changed representation with an emphasis towards going to movie. Okay. But WB is hesitant to go in that direction. Yeah, I wouldn't do that because all of a sudden then, like, and here's the thing, y'all. We understand all of this, but you got to understand a general audience. There will probably be a lot of people that be like, oh, wait, I got to watch all of The Flash before I watch this movie. And you get what I'm saying? And Grant Gustin would probably complicate that even further. Jorm usually opens with Mother by Danzig. Yes. I know someone who does that. Well, you don't have to live like a refugee. All right, we're going through the John Carpenter catalog in chronological order. We've already talked about Dark Star, Assault on Precinct 13, and Someone's Watching Me. Now, Someone's Watching Me was a TV movie that was released after Halloween, but it was filmed right before Halloween. And when we covered it a few weeks ago, it was with the intent on seeing and understanding that Halloween is just a couple weeks away from filming. So let's do it. It's time to talk about John Carpenter's Halloween. Halloween was released in 1978, written and directed by John Carpenter, with music composed and conducted by John Carpenter, produced by Deborah Hill. Y'all, you don't need me to explain the plot of this movie or that this movie is awesome. You don't need me to recommend this movie to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. This movie's a must-watch. Now, last year for Horror Fest, we covered all of the Halloween movies, including the first one, but all of them, including the Rob Zombie ones. Definitely check out that review. It was a really fun night. But Halloween, man, one of the best openers of a slasher film, period, right? You get this point of view of a killer killing a young woman, and then you find out that it's this young kid, Michael Myers. So he gets taken to an asylum, a mental hospital for 15 years, then he escapes. Meanwhile, in Haddonfield, you get introduced to 3 friends, right? And it's Laurie Strode, and it's Annie, and what's the other girl's name? PJ plays, who does she play? Is it Nancy? I'm going to look it up real quick. I think it's Nancy. But it's about 3 friends. 2 of them are babysitters. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my goodness. Why can I not just easily find this? You can't just type in Halloween, by the way. Doesn't work that way. Anyway, we're just going to move on. So the 3 friends, Halloween. All right. So what I love about this film is that Michael and the horror are already being started in the daytime, right? So as they're walking, Annie and Laurie are being stalked by this guy, and he's in the mask, and Halloween is a master class in suspense and technical skill at creating tension, right? Some really great bits. I love the bit where they're getting high together in the car. The car looks so old school. It reminds me of being a kid, and that smell might remind me of being a kid too. But also Donald Pleasance is in it. Of course, he's Dr. Loomis. He's come to Haddonfield trying to find Michael, trying to warn everybody that Michael is evil. He's the boogeyman, all this stuff. All right. So Halloween night's happening. The first one to get got is Annie, right? And she gets got in an interesting enough way. She is the most annoying character to me in this movie. I don't think we're supposed to like her, but it's such a well-crafted movie. My favorite kill is Bob. Now, I believe, is it Nancy? Someone let me know. Who does PJ Nitt play in this movie? Is her character's name Nancy? Anyway, her boyfriend is Bob, and Bob's kill's my favorite. I love the way the shape kind of like tilts his head back and forth like a dog. Linda, thank you so much, Albert. I really do appreciate that. And then her death, right? So he's up there in the ghost costume, and she's the next one to get got. There's a very small kill count in this movie, but the tension, the suspense, the atmosphere, all pounded in with that music, that direction, holy cow. So basically it comes to a point where Laurie goes to the other house to try to find out what's going on. There's Michael's sister's tombstone. There's Annie. The other ones are there. And then we have this big last confrontation. Now, Laurie does survive. And she does have to, like, kind of, I don't know, because she's kind of a sheepish, sheltered, inexperienced type character, kind of shy and all that kind of stuff, right? But she has to kind of to take charge a little bit, but her arc isn't necessarily the arc. The movie, what is it about? First of all, the shape is amazing. Nick Castle and the other guy, they do a great job with it. All the POV stuff. The movie is chilling. It's almost hard to watch this movie without decades of Halloween sequels and other slasher films. But every time I watch this movie, like I watched it today, I try to remove myself and think about what it would be like to watch this movie for the first time. But in the initial confrontation with Laurie, he keeps coming back until he gets shot 6 times. 6 times! I shot him 6 times! By Loomis. He falls out of the window, then he disappears. Was that the boogeyman? As a matter of fact, it was. But the true boogeyman was John Carpenter. This is his 4th feature film, y'all. His 4th feature film is Halloween. A huge commercial success, a huge critical success, and a movie that cemented his legacy as a director, a movie that cemented him as a filmmaker, man. Like 100% true. John Carpenter is a master class director. I'm so excited to be going through this list. Halloween is a movie we've talked about over and over and over again. The soundtrack is amazing. The way that it's paced, the editing, the tension, the atmosphere, the lighting, everything is so perfect. Halloween is absolutely brilliant and amazing. And it's interesting to watch this movie right after watching Someone's Watching Me, because Someone's Watching Me has moments where you're like, you're almost there. You're almost there, John Carpenter, but you're being held back because you're doing a made-for-TV movie. You're being held back because you got to do certain things in certain blocks of time for a commercial break. In Halloween, everything he learned in his previous movies. Dark Star, that's a fucking college student film from John Carpenter, and it was fucking awesome. Dan O'Bannon as well, but that movie was awesome. Then you had Assault on Precinct 13. Holy cow, talk about tension, suspense, craft. It's all there. Someone's Watching Me is now working in a studio situation for television with restrictions. And so basically John Carpenter put himself into a box. And then the very next thing he did, it's like a DBZ character wearing weights. John Carpenter making Someone's Watching Me was like training in a high gravity situation wearing weights. Then he gets out of that situation, takes off the weights, and he's ready to go. He's level 9 fucking thousand, and he makes Halloween, one of the greatest goddamn horror slasher films of all time. Absolutely brilliant. The music, the atmosphere, the cinematography, the goddamn performances, everything in this movie is spot on and so uniquely rich and great, and there's so many things you can look into it. What is the movie really about? It's been criticized for saying that it's one of those slasher films. It's like, oh, the teens get promiscuous, they do drugs, they smoke pot, they drink beer, they get killed. That's not the point. The killing happens when what happens? Responsibility gets shirked. Mike was alone on Halloween because his sister was having sex with another person. He kills his sister. What is Michael trying to prevent? Irresponsibility of babysitters towards children. Right? That's what happens to Annie. It's when she's avoiding her responsibility. It's when, even Lori, it's when she leaves the kids when he attacks her. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But in case you didn't know, I'm a big John Carpenter fan. Super excited to do this. Halloween, 1978. Out of 5 you digs, I'm going 5 you digs, motherfucker. Come on. This movie is so amazing. I love it. What do you think about Halloween? What do you give it out of 5 you digs? I give it 5. Love this film. You know, I know it's just August, but it was so nice revisiting Halloween. Now, next week, we're doing Elvis. So he follows up Halloween with another TV movie, but his first collaboration with Kurt Russell, Elvis. So that's next week. But let me see what y'all are saying in the chat. Bobby says, I heard somewhere where Michael Myers' mask was a painted mask of William Shatner. Is that true? Yes. They got a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask, painted it white, cut out the eyes. That's the mask. So cool. And they never got it right again. Like in 2, it's the same mask, I believe, but they never got the mask right again. Even my favorite Halloween sequel, which is H2O, has the shittiest fucking mask. Really does. Yeah, Jordan says, true story. So true on the Shatner. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Ronald's in the house. What's up, Ronald? Ouroboros says, masterpiece. Boogeyman of our time, says Ronald. Peace out, Mark. Happy birthday, bruh. Enjoy it. See you next week for Turtles. Eric says, Halloween is a masterpiece, and that says a lot because this isn't even Carpenter's best movie. I mean, right? It does say a lot because it's not even his best movie, which means it's not his only 5 you dig film. We got more coming. Still to date, one of the most successful independent films of all time. As far as profitability of I think Blair Witch is the one that beat it, but it's still, for what they spent to what they made, huge success. Hammer Time says, avoiding responsibility, so Michael and Jason are the good guys. Jamie Lee is such a vixen. William says, okay, so John Carpenter's Goku. Okay, knew it. Hell yeah. All right, the ratings are coming in. Ouroboros says 5 you digs. Two Gun Pedro says 4.5. Jackson says 5 you digs. Spilio says 4.5. What movie is John Carpenter's Spirit Bomb? If someone asked me what my favorite John Carpenter movie is, the first thing I would always say would be The Thing. That's the one that always pops into me as his best. Which Halloween, Tommy and the little girl, they're watching what? They're watching The Thing from Another World, the Howard Hawks movie, right? Which was the movie that was based on the story that John Carpenter did a remake of with The Thing. So that's really, really cool. Eric says 4.5, you digs. Ouroboros says, what is the best Carpenter film, The Thing or Halloween? The Thing for me, but Halloween is right there too. There's other 5 you digs movies from John Carpenter too. I think Prince of Darkness and In the Mouth of Madness are severely underrated. John Carpenter's last movie is The Ward. John Hammertime Holshoe. I knew it. 5 you digs, my man. What do you think of the new Spawn Batman crossover? Super pumped. Greg Capullo was born to do that fucking book. I'm excited. Ghosts of Mars. We'll see. Hammertime Holshoe says, The Thing is his best film, hands down. Horny Time Horseshoe. William says, dude, yes, The Thing is awesome. Went to see it in the theater the other month. Oh, man, I missed out on that. I really wanted to. I should have. All right, it's time for Image in the 90s, but I need to go take a whiz. So we're actually taking a quick break, but when we come back, Image in the 90s, we're going to be talking about Youngblood number 3, top 5 movies of 2012, show and tell, and a little bit more. The Ward, any good? No. But we're going to revisit it at some point. But Ronald says 5 you digs, by the way, for Halloween. Absolutely. All right, y'all, we'll be right back here on Rockin' Robbie Live.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Everyone, come check us out on The Experience this Monday, August 8th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have new CC8 that just came in, more signed books, our classic version covers, CGCs, and so much more. maybe even a giveaway, but you gotta tune in to check out. So Rex will be here with John and Robbie. I might pop in if I feel like it, but for the most part, we'll all be here. Remember, Monday, August 8th, 6 p.m. Don't miss it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live, the show about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We've been having a grand old time tonight. We looked back at our favorite comic books from last week. We looked ahead at what was coming up in shops this week, including the DC sneak peek. And we just talked about John Carpenter's Halloween, the latest journey, or a step in our journey, on John Carpenter's chronological films. Gotta find a better way to word that. Anyway, coming up, we got Image in the 90s. We got Show and Tell. We got Top 5 Movies of 2012. And even more. I want to say follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can support the channel with a super chat or at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there. We really do appreciate everything. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. What's coming up at the channel? Tomorrow night, PCP Action Fest continues with its penultimate episode for 2022 with Commando. We'll be talking about Commando tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Saturday night, for Dylan's Horror Show, we're talking about The Mortuary Collection, an anthology horror film available on Shudder. PCP mystery boxes are available. Everybody that got one last week, it has been sent. You are receiving them this week. Thank you so much. Because if you want to help support the channel but get some cool swag in the way, or whatever. PCP Mystery Box is now available. $30. That includes shipping. Email us at popculturephilosophers@gmail.com if you are interested. All right. Hope everybody had a good break. I did. Hammer Time Holshoe says, The Thing prequel is shockingly good. I agree. Last week on our top 5 movies of 2011, it made my honorable mentions. But I've only ever seen the movie. I've only ever seen it the once in theater, and I was rather surprised, and I liked it. It's almost like a remake, though. It's almost like the same fucking movie, but I did love how it's set up right, like at the end, it sets up right into the John Carpenter thing. I love it. Now, it don't hold a candle to the original thing. You know what I'm saying? I wish Carpenter was doing more movies. Yeah, me too. I guess John Carpenter's retired. I wish he wasn't. But to be honest, I don't know, because I was about to say, to be honest, his last works are not his best works. Right? I really don't like a lot of his works from like Vampires on. Vampires, Ghosts of Mars, The Ward. not really quite my thing. But I think one of my favorite John Carpenter movies is actually an episode of Masters of Horror. So it's like an hour-long movie, so it's not really quite a feature, but it works for me. It's called Cigarette Burns. It's got Norman Reedus in it. That's one of the best things John Carpenter's done. Cigarette Burns. And yes, we're doing both episodes of his Pro-Life and Cigarette Burns. Both episodes of Masters of Horror from John Carpenter are going to be done on this John Carpenter journey. So there you go. So how's everybody doing? Sandman's good. We talked about the Batgirl situation. Yeah, we pretty much covered the week's biggest things. Oh, I forgot to... I'm supposed to show this off. But there's my copy of Halloween on Blu-ray. This is the Halloween Complete Collection. It's thrown together by Scream Factory. It's not the big one, but they just announced 4Ks. They've already done 4Ks of 1 through 5. They just announced 4Ks of 6, 7, and 8. Which means that a lot of people now are unloading their Halloween sets. So this used to be like $100 to $200. Now this is back down. And then there was the individually sleeved set that has more special features that I've always wanted, which was hitting up to $500 at one point. That is nearing back down to $200 now because they got the 4Ks coming out. But that's this is the, it's got less special features. It's the streamlined box set, but it's got all of the films, including the Rob Zombie ones. But it doesn't have like special features that I really, really want. Like Curse of Michael Myers producer's cut, TV version of the first one. So I do eventually want to upgrade. I don't know. I either want to upgrade and get the 4Ks of them. I don't have a 4K player. I got the TV finally, but I don't have a player. But maybe I want to eventually get those so I have more of the features, or just take advantage when the price dips down at the lowest and get the actual like set that I want. But I don't know. What do y'all think? 4K is something I've been very hesitant about getting into because knowing my collecting habits, and I collected VHS, and then I collected DVDs, and then I collected Blu-rays, I would upgrade. And I just don't think I want to upgrade anymore. So I may get a 4K, and I may even upgrade certain things like Suspiria, maybe Halloween, something like that. But I don't feel like I need to upgrade every single thing this time. I don't know. Eric says, Curse of Michael Myers is a low-key and entertaining bad movie. What does a region-free 4K player run for? I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but 4K Blu-rays are region-free, but I was told last night that a 4K player would not play my region-free Blu-rays. But I got a region-free Blu-ray player, and there's no reason not to have both hooked up if I ever decide to get a 4K player. So, get a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. That wouldn't really do anything for me, though, Twitch. I don't play games on those, and nor do I plan to, because games can be a time sink, and I just ain't got the time for it. Because what I would love to get a game system so I could start playing MLB The Show again, but I used to spend way too much fucking time on that. So, you know, it's nice. I can play Mario every so often for a few hours and I'm cool, but I don't necessarily want a PS5 or an Xbox, so I don't know. I wouldn't utilize it, is what I'm saying. I know me. I like my games pre-2000. Speaking of pre-2000, it's time for Image in the 90s. And today we're talking about Youngblood issue number 3. All right, so we're going through Rob Liefeld's Youngblood. For me, the first time ever. I wasn't a Rob Liefeld fan at this time. I wasn't reading Youngblood, but I was reading Brigade and Bloodstrike for a little bit. And it's interesting to finally read Youngblood for the first time. First issue, I was kind of disappointed in it, right? I had been building back up into this, revisiting New Mutants with Rob Liefeld, getting into his work. When I first became a little bit into a Rob Liefeld fan was the Captain America run, I'll be honest with you. But going through Youngblood's been a trip. Issue 1 was disappointing, but issue 2, the introduction of Prophet, really started correcting things What happens in issue number 3? Well, we finally pick up right from where we left off. Prophet and the Youngblood stealth team, the away team, the B team, and they've been tasked to move the cryogenically frozen body of Prophet into the United States, but they get attacked, right? As he wakes up, they get attacked. All kinds of craziness is going on. And then we get introduced right back into this fight, but kind of after some time has passed. Prophet is the only one still standing. He's throwing down with some of these robot dudes. And then we see that the other members of Youngblood, as well as Kirby and his team, what were they called? The Berserkers. That's right. Did he just say making fuck? They're all totally out of it. Prophet's the last man standing. And then we cut to the Youngblood home team. Now, this is the first time we've gone back to Shaft and Bedrock, because it is Bedrock still at this moment, and there's even a moment here where it's like, Rob, are you asking for it? We'll get to it. But we get back to them, and we start finally dealing with a little bit more about what's going on with the Youngblood, why there are 2 teams. This is the public team, and it's starting to actually build some story now, okay? However, I just want to see more of Prophet. Because to me, Prophet's the most badass character so far in all of Youngblood. And I'm really excited to dive into some Prophet solo stuff. But let's get into it. So Shaft and Bedrock, they got their their assistant telling them what's going on, the itinerary of the day. You're getting the idea that the home team, they are celebrities. That starts finally getting punched home in issue number 3. He's being asked a bunch of questions here and there about their involvement in the suicide of not Saddam Hussein, but Hassan Hussein, right? Which Sci-Fire kills in the first issue. That's finally becoming a bigger deal. They're starting to build these subplots up. Then we see this dude. He's not Forearm, but he's a version of Forearm. Rob's just kind of doing his version of some of his characters that he already created, as well as some new ideas and as well as some new tweaks on some old ideas. But they're there. They have been captured. So Youngblood number 1, most of the story was on the B team, but the story we got of the home team, the star team, the stage team, it ends as soon as Youngblood fully shows up. But apparently they fought the villains and they captured them. Everything was okay. They have this crazy confrontation. The artwork has really solidified through issue 1 into 2 into 3. 1 feels rushed, cobbled together, thrown together, had terrible lettering. 2 had a bunch of different letterers, had an inconsistency to it, but the artwork started kind of just strengthening up a little bit. And here in 3, it's starting to hit a certain type of form for me. Then we cut to this really cool 2-page spread where it looks like some of Combat's people, some of his alien race, the Clintarians or some shit like that. They're out there and they're talking about, yo, we gotta go find him. He's one of them. They think that he's dead. Maybe he's not. One of them, this chick, thinks he's a traitor. This is just building up some subplot. It seems like Combat has been the character that has had the most build-up and backstory so far. So that's very intriguing. Because when I think of Youngblood, I think Shaft, I think Badrock, I think Die Hard. I don't think Combat. Anyway, really cool face right there from Rob Liefeld. Basically, Shaft just kind of being like, I'm a celebrity, and he's doing like a press conference. He's getting asked about all these things that he doesn't want to answer. He's having to be political about it. You got a special appearance from Clark Kent and Lois Lane right there. Always love that little touch. Questions start getting a little bit too hot and heavy for him, but luckily, he gets the right notification at the right time. The bad guys that they have just captured not too long ago that he was just shit-talking to, they have escaped. With the help of this new character, weird design. Kind of looks like a female version of the Beetle with way less armor. I don't know. But then you get this big, interesting, awesome double-page splash of where are the rest of Youngblood? There's no Die Hard. There's no Vogue. Like, what's going on here? It's just Bedrock, Chapel, and Shaft busting in, but it looks fucking awesome. And they're coming in, and a really cool double-page splash to come after that. Shaft flipping, throwing his arrows, gets caught. She catches all 3 arrows, but the placement of that looks really weird in the fist. I don't think she caught one of those arrows. Anyway, she captures the arrows. He's like, yo, man, what are we going to do? Then all of a sudden, she's like, we're out of here. And I think the villains, they're just called the Four. That's really weak. Anyway, they get away. All of a sudden, these ninjas show up. So Shaft, fighting some ninjas, grabs a sword, shanks them, kills this motherfucker. They are going in, talking about... He's been answering questions about who, like, Youngblood's been accused of killing Hassan Hussein or whatever, right? Hassan Hussein. And they're like, no, Youngblood doesn't kill. Here he is just, like, straight up killing these ninjas, you know? But that's the way it goes. Some really great action spreads here. Then Bedrock gets a moment to just go on up, and then he goes, yabba dabba doom. And then he's like, can I get sued for that? Rob, you're asking for it, because... he had to change the name Bedrock to Bad Rock. Anyway, we finally get some, like, action scenes from the A-Team, and it's cool. Chapel then shows up. Oh, what's Chapel gonna do? He just blows his fucking ninja away. Now, we know in tons of other fictional material, ninjas show up. Dude's got guns. Dudes with guns can't do shit on ninjas, but Chapel's like, I don't know why you'd bring a sword to a gunfight. Just starts blowing them away. Bam, like, literally just a panel of, like, 7 or 8 blams, and Chapel's taking care of the rest of the ninjas. But the Four are still there. We're about to have this dramatic confrontation between Youngblood, or at least 3 members of Youngblood, and the Four. And then it starts happening. It looks like Shaft kills this one dude. Then they're like, no, he's okay. And I'm like, how's he okay? It looks like he just got arrowed straight into the face. The other ones get away, though, as you can see. He's still there. They're questioning him. Then Die Hard shows up. And he goes, yo, the away team. We just heard from them. They're there with this prophet dude. Shit's gone bad. We got to go save him. So Die Hard's just been licking his dick, I guess, waiting for what's going on with the away team and the rest of Youngblood. But he comes and interrupts their fight. You know, they're in the middle of some shit. And I just noticed, like, honestly, I didn't notice this when I read this book. Because when I read this book this afternoon, I was noticing the dude getting, like, arrowed in the face but still being alive. I didn't even notice that the rest of the team were teleporting away. So I just noticed that. But Die Hard showing up in the centerfold, bum, 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 bum. And that's the end of the issue. But we do got another one of those flip issues. And in the last issue, we introduced Shadowhawk. In this issue, we introduced Supreme. So it's by Brian Murray. And what it is a 5-page preview of Supreme. And what it is it's basically this iteration of the Justice League being explored, being talked about by these 2 corporate heads, and they're mentioning all the different characters, all their different powers, all their abilities, all their conflicts with one another, and how they need something special, some leader, some missing component, something super or supreme. And it sets up the new Supreme book. We'll definitely be getting into Supreme one time in 90s, or Image in the 90s, especially with the Alan Moore stuff. And then a tease for Bloodstrike. And that was a book I had a lot of fun with when I was a kid for some reason. But Youngblood #3, not so bad. Like, I was kind of disappointed that they didn't keep on with the Prophet story, but I also really liked them going back to the Youngblood home team and actually building on it. This was an interesting approach to take, where you go one issue one team, the next issue another team. You keep going back and forth. You use your extra pages at the end to introduce new characters and new concepts. There's a little bit of groundwork being led here, a little bit more stuff being tied together, a little bit more information about what's actually going on. But here we are, though, honestly, 3 issues in on Youngblood, and it is less than what most people accomplish in a really good first issue. But it's got some cool layouts. It's got some cool action. It's got some cool, interesting concepts. The execution's starting to get a little bit better. I'm getting a little bit more invested in these Youngblood characters, but I am very much ready to get back into Prophet and what is going on there. So all in all, I thought this was a solid, fun issue. Not quite an improvement on issue #2, but a solidification of identity. And that's something that I think really stands out. The Supreme preview doesn't do much. There could have been a better way to introduce this character of Supreme. They try to thread it in mystery. It just doesn't quite work for me. But overall, Youngblood #3, I'm going to have to give that 3.5 ya digs. And I mean that. And this has been Image in the 90s. All right. Looking at the chat. Prophet is the man. Shaft with the sword looking like Shatterstar. Hell yeah, Two-Gun, you know it. And yeah, John, licking his dick. I liked it, though. Here's my original issue. Right here, we got it. My favorite art, I love this opening page of Prophet right there. But it's interesting. The flip book thing, I think he initially wanted to do a flip book where, like, home team, away team, that would be really cool. But I think that eventually, especially running his own company, I mean, these books were late. And so I think what happened was that they learned, and that's what that looks like on the spread. That looks really cool that way. But I think eventually he learned that he was rather ambitious with what he was trying to do. So it's so crazy. You look at these pages. Like, look at that page. Absolutely fantastic fucking page. Both pages. Fantastic pages from Rob Liefeld. The next page, not so much. Like a weak page. You know? So it is inconsistent. But then you get cool stuff like this. Rob Liefeld doing what he's trying to do. I think he was rather ambitious when this book started. He thought he was going to be able to tell 2 comic book stories on one issue. It didn't happen that way. Like whatsoever. How badass is that? Does look like Shatterstar. Anyway, I'm not ashamed to say it. I like this shit. Lettering's better. Coloring's getting better. Brian Murray's the colorist here. The inking on the faces by Rob Liefeld is always super solid. There eventually becomes a point in Youngblood number 6 where there's the Die Hard bit. Like, who the fuck is Die Hard? We don't know shit yet. This is issue 3. But eventually, Rob Liefeld gets to a point where he's bringing in other inkers so we can get the book done in time. And that happens at issue 6, but he's still inking the faces. It was very important to him. So, I don't know. There you go. I'm glad y'all like the licking. I mean, what else is Die Hard doing? Excuse me. Where's Vogue? What's going on? He obviously knows where they are because he shows up, rolls up right on them. William says, man, Youngblood was my jam. Honestly, Youngblood was the first CGC I bought. You know, getting back into Image in the 90s, looking at the early stuff, Spawn, Savage Dragon, and now Youngblood. I was looking forward to it. And then that first issue, I was like, oh man, this is going to be rough. But no, issue 2 and 3 really kind of pull it together. Now I know that they do this weird shit where it starts falling so far behind. They do issue 4 and then issue 5 is like a half a book with Brigade number something. Like, so they like, I don't know. But then 6 started something new and they were like, now we're committed. But then it ends at issue 10. And then there's a volume 2 and we'll eventually collect those up, right? I have a few from volume 2, but not all of them. Papa Ken says, what do you think about the new Munsters? Doesn't look good to me. We'll see what happens when it releases. All right, it's time for our top 5 movies of 2012. Let's get into it. What do you think? And before we get into it, I got some honorable mentions. 2012, first of all, is a more solid year than 2010, 2011. 2010 was embarrassing. 2011 was a stretch. 2012, there were some good solid movies to pick from. I saw a lot of these in theater. Let's get into it. Honorable mentions, Dredd. Dredd was so cool. I still know people that don't like this movie with Carl Urban. I fucking love this movie. I watched it in the theater in 3D. It blew me away. Skyfall. I don't love it as much as other people do as far as Bond movies, but it does not take away from how awesome this movie actually is, how amazing the performances are, especially from Javier Bardem and Daniel Craig. Room 237, which is a documentary about the myriad of different interpretations for Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. This movie is almost as compelling as the actual film. I would highly encourage anybody to check out Room 237. Prometheus. I know a lot of people aren't quite into it. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie ever, but I like it. I'm a Ridley Scott mark. I like his Alien films. I like what he was trying to build with Prometheus. I liked what he was trying to continue with Alien Covenant, and then we'll never see where that goes. Lincoln, Steven Spielberg. I really like this movie. Daniel Day-Lewis did a great job as Abraham Lincoln. Other actors did amazing in this movie, such as Tommy Lee Jones. Love it. Anyway, into the actual top five. Top five. Number 5, Argo. Ben Affleck movie. Love this movie. Bryan Cranston, Alan Arkin, John Goodman. It's a movie based on a true story that Jack Kirby had something to do with, but the movie itself is filled with tension. Like we were talking about that with Halloween. This is tension in a different way, in a different light. It's got comedy, but it's mostly a real-life drama filled with suspense, and I absolutely love it. At number 4, we're going Dark Knight Rises. I love this film, and at the time, this may have been my favorite movie of that year, but in hindsight, I think it's got some problems, but to me, it doesn't have as many problems as other people thinks that it does. It's the best cinematic interpretation we've ever had of Bane. Tom Hardy did a brilliant job, even though it was different than what we wanted. It was more close to Bane than the Vader Bane was in Batman and Robin. But I love this movie. I think it's absolutely great. It gets a little too conveniently tied up together. Anyway, number 3, Avengers. This movie slaps. It's still one of the best MCU films. I cannot believe that within like 5 movies, they brought together the Avengers. They introduced them and they built it up. This movie was awesome. Loki made a great villain. Hulk was great in this. The special effects were top notch of the day. It had humor, but it had high stakes. It had scale, and it was epic, and I loved it. At number 2, Django Unchained. Come on, y'all. Tarantino makes a movie. You don't think it's going to make it on the top 5. You are sorely mistaken. Django Unchained, to me, is one of his best movies. This movie is raw. This movie is visceral. This movie can be uncomfortable to watch, but at the same time, it's badass. It's a badass slave revenge flick. It's got style, it's got humor, it's fun, it's cool, it's sleek, but at the same time uncomfortable and deep and heavy. I fucking love it. And at number 1, I gotta go Life of Pi. Life of Pi, honestly, it may seem to be the pretentious pick or whatever, but this movie really is something that I think is truly unique and special. You can watch this movie and take it at face value, and when you come out of it, you can be like, that was a cool movie, and then you can kind of forget about it. Or you can really study it. You can really think about what the subtext of this film is, what the metaphors are, what the tiger represents, what each little thing. It's about a kid. It's about this young gentleman who is escaping. He's stranded on a lifeboat with the fucking tiger. But there's so much more to it. It is visually stunning. I think it's mostly like an allegory type thing, but it's filled with symbolism that I think is absolutely brilliant. There's this whole bit where they see these, like, I don't know what to call them. Is it effervescent or whatever? That's wrong. Effervescent. Isn't that like Alka-Seltzer? But iridescent or whatever. These things that light up in the fucking water. They get to this certain part in the... It's just the visuals in this movie are goddamn beautiful. They're amazing. It's based on a book. I've never watched it. This is an Ang Lee film, I believe. Anyway, let's recap this. Best of 2012. I want to know what your top 5s are. Let us know in the comments right below. My honorable mentions: Dread, Skyfall, Room 237, Prometheus, Lincoln. And at number 5, I've got Argo. Argo, fuck yourself. At number 4, I've got The Dark Knight Rises. At number 3, Avengers. At number 2, Django Unchained. And at number 1, Life of Pi. Those are my top 5 movies of 2012. What are yours? So let's see what y'all were thinking. Blake the Great with thoughts on the Mandalorian comic. I read the first issue. It's just going to be an adaptation of the show. So I'm not going to read anymore just because I got the show. I like the show. I don't necessarily need to see a comic book adaptation of it. So not necessarily for me, but definitely for hardcore Mando fans, I would say. Dun, 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 dun. Ouroboros says, Skyfall was incredible. Spilio says, Dread, my favorite of the year. Wish they did a sequel. Me too. Eric says, this is 40. Oh, you're saying, okay, a movie called This Is 40. My bad. This is 40. I thought you were saying This is 40. I thought you were like, I'm 40 and this is how old. Anyway, never mind. This is 40. Avengers, Indie Game, Dread, and Looper. Blake says, never watched the whole Avenger movie, but seen everything else. Twitch says, at 5, Django Unchained, then Looper, Sinister, Silver Linings Playbook, and Dread. Never seen Silver Linings Playbook yet, and I haven't watched Sinister, and I haven't seen Looper. Just to let y'all know. Two Gun says, Avengers, Sinister, Dark Knight Rises, Django Unchained, and Hunger Games. I like Hunger Games, but it's that second one I think that's the best one. I love it. But also, This is 40. With 40, I thought you were saying something like, This is 40, looking back at the movies in 2012 and feeling like it's fucking ever ago. Jesus. I think that's a good little fun top 5. I don't know. That's what I think. All right, time for show and tell. For show and tell tonight, first thing I'm going to show off is this book. So last week, I showed off The Dark Tower, the 7th book, The Dark Tower thing. After 5 years, I finally finished it, which lifted a burden for me. And then I've read a book since. So that's how much it was holding me back. I've read a whole other book since. But I read Brad Meltzer's first published book, The 10th Justice. Now, a lot of us know Brad Meltzer as a comic book writer. He did a really great Green Arrow story called The Archer's Quest. He had a run on Justice League of America. He also had a really cool show on History Channel that I loved, called Decoded. But he's got a bunch of novels. He's a novelist. And I have read some of his novels. I've read Book of Lies, Book of Fate. Right? But I picked this up some time ago, The 10th Justice. This is his first novel. And I read it. And I read it very quickly, honestly. And I liked it. I thought it was really good. Overall, I'd give this 3.5 out of 5, you digs. So it's called The 10th Justice. It's about this dude named Ben, and he is a clerk for the Supreme Court. And clerks for the Supreme Court, they work for a year, but they're the ones that write the opinions out and shit like that. Anyway, a lot of information about the interior workings of the Supreme Court that I didn't necessarily know about that is put in here. Brad Meltzer studied law. He's a historian. He's a comic book writer. He's somebody that I like, right? But this story is about a dude, and Supreme Court clerks only go on for about a year, right? But he's talking to a dude who was a previous Supreme Court, and he winds up revealing a court, like a decision beforehand, and that's like the big no-no. You don't do that. And it turns out this dude never worked there, was playing this dude, setting him up, and now he has sold that information to a dude who has used it to make a lot of money. And so now there's all this like conspiracy shit going on, right, about him, and he's like worried that he's going to get caught, and it keeps building up into this like really interesting thing. At a certain point, it kind of slows up, but then it speeds up and it starts dealing with higher stakes than I thought it actually would ever go to. So it was a real quick read. It was only like 540 pages, but I enjoyed this book. I thought it was really cool, and I'm excited now to go through Brad Meltzer's novel work. Right? So there's that. I picked up a new Blu-ray. Had to take advantage of the Criterion sale before it completely died away. When Criterion does the 50% off sale, you got to take advantage of it. But the last one I picked up this year for that sale this month was Dressed to Kill, Brian De Palma film starring, what's his name? I almost said Michael Palin. What's his fucking name? Oh my God, why can't I not think of his name right now? From Batman, from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Michael Caine. Did I say Michael? Anyway, so yeah, Dressed to Kill, Brian De Palma. Really interesting film inspired by Giallo. So there you go. Also, got some comics. Comic-related stuff. So I got this Hellboy Artisan Edition. So this is the complete Hellboy in Hell, but all the original artwork and some other stuff from Hellboy. So it's the original Mike Mignola artwork. Really excited to get this, explore it. Mike Mignola is one of my favorite comic book artists of all time. And to be able to look at the artwork and see what it looked like originally, it's not to size because these paperbacks are done smaller than the hardcovers. The hardcovers are done on the actual size of the paper that it would be printed on or produced on. But it also has old school Hellboy stuff too, which is really cool. So it's really cool for me to look at one of my favorite artists and look at original artwork. It's gorgeous in an affordable version. These are only like $40 as opposed to like, what, 100, 150 that you get for the hardcovers. I've been getting into the work of Benjamin Mara lately, and I picked up American Blood. I've read the first few books of this. It's a bunch of different stories together. There's Gangsta Rap Posse. That book was wild. Lincoln Washington, that was awesome. And Maureen Dowd is she's like a reporter with edge and attitude. But there's a lot more going on in this book. There's silly cartoony things. It's super irreverent. There's sex, violence, exploitation. So much wild shit going on in this book. I'm like a little through it. I'm probably like a third through it, but I'm really enjoying it. Picked up some other work from him. This one's called Night Business. This one looks super cool. Haven't gotten into it yet. Just now reading American Blood. But what I've seen so far about his work, I'm really into. Like I said, think 80s action, think exploitation, think ridiculous, think hilarious. He did a book with Joe Casey called Jesus Freak, and this seems to be like a 70s exploitation version of the story of Jesus. Now this one has colors in it, but it looks freaking awesome, does it not? Look at that. And y'all know as soon as I read them, I'll let you know what I think about them. So that's the Benjamin Mara. I'm looking for Terror Assaulter. That's the one that I first heard of that really got me into his work, but right now, that one is a little out of stock, a little out of print. And we're going to wrap up Show and Tell with the Ice Cream Man Sunday edition. It was mentioned earlier. It's the first 12 issues of Ice Cream Man in a nice, oversized, thick hardcover. Beautifully done. Lots of extra stuff in the background. So all of the first 12 issues, but in the back, lots of cool stuff. All of the covers, and I hate it when they do like all the covers, but those are like 4 a page. No, every cover, big, large, easy to look at. So that's a really cool benefit there. You also get some original scripts and layouts from W. Maxwell Prince. And looking at the script for issue 6, Strange Neapolitan, is really interesting. And you also get, where is it? You also get like sketchbook material. Gotta just find a bit of it. There's a bunch of stuff back here. Where the fuck is the sketchbook? Yeah. Sketchbook stuff too. So really cool book. If you like Ice Cream Man, this is definitely the way to collect it. 12 issues. Oh, come on. Let's get volume 2 very quickly. You know what I'm saying? All right. Time to finish up with Final 5. All right. We're going through this Universal Monster set. There's the creature from the Black Lagoon right there, y'all. All 3 films. Then we've got Phantom of the Opera. This is just the one film with Claude Rains. Why does this not have the one with Lon Chaney? You know, I don't have that movie. Out of all my silent films that I love, I only have one. It's Vampire. I don't have Metropolis. I don't have Phantom of the Opera. I don't have Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I have that one on DVD, actually. I don't have The Man Who Laughs. I don't have The Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's ridiculous. Nosferatu. I don't have that. Anyway, The Invisible Man. Love the Invisible Man movie. This has all of those ones, including the Abbott and Costello one. So that's super, super cool. Moving away from that, Up in the Air. This was one of my favorite films of like 2007 or 2008 or something. George Clooney film that I absolutely love. We're going to be reviewing that on PCP Movie Night 2023. And then The Usual Suspects. Another one of my favorite movies. I absolutely love this fucking movie. This was the first movie where I learned that watching things or reading things or experiencing fiction more than once can add to it immensely. You dig? All right. So I'm grabbing these out so we can show this all together. So this box set for the Universal Monster movies does have this book. This is the book that also comes with the the smaller set. But lots of cool little information and art and shit. But there's the box right there. Got a lot of movies in it. We're going to put all the movies back in and take a look at it together. Completed. This is probably my pride and joy of my Blu-ray collection, to be honest. I love these movies so much. They look really good when they display on the shelf like this. This is how I display them. But they would also look good displayed like this. Or standing on their own like this. And then there's all the movies that are on here. That's insane. Focus. Look at that. That's insane. Yeah, the Invisible Man set does come with the Invisible Woman. There you go. And that has been your Final Five. All right, and that's the show. Chris, good to see you here, buddy. Chris, I was just showing this Benjamin Mara stuff I got. Have you ever gotten into his work? I just started reading American Blood, and I was digging it. But I picked up Jesus Freak, Night Business, and American Blood. I need to get Terror Assaulter, but that one is out of print right now, so I'm going to have to get that on the aftermarket. Anyway, I seem to be really digging it. I really liked Gangsta Rap Posse. Was fucking ridiculous. But the Lincoln Washington, that one was really cool. Lincoln Washington is like a former slave who's a free man now, but still dealing with a lot of racism and shit. And, you know, we were talking about Django. This kind of has a revenge kind of aspect to it, too. And it is violent. Violent as shit, man. He rips this dude's spine out. See that? Fuck yeah. That's what you do to slave owners. Fuck yeah. Always been curious about those, but haven't read them yet. Like I said, I'm about a third of the way through American Blood, and I'm really digging it. It is wild and unlike what you're going to see from most people. Anyway, Chris, good to see you. Good to see everybody tonight. Thank you for making this a fantastic show. We had a great show, man. Looking forward to next week, Rockin Robbie Live, but join us tomorrow night as we talk about Commando for PCP Action Fest. 8 p.m. Central Time. Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday. We're talking about the Mortuary Collection, an anthology horror film available on Shudder. Speaking of available, PCP Mystery Box is now available. Only $10 for this week. $30, including shipping. Email us at popculturephilosophers@gmail.com if you are interested. All right, y'all. I'd like to say it's been real, and I'd like to say it's been fun. But it's been real fun, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Station Pop Pop. Oh, did I get you? Did I get you? Pop, pop, boom, motherfucker. Come on, man. How's it supposed to feel, everybody up there in the PCP Army? Y'all ready for the back chat? When we gather here on Sunday nights, everybody likes to look around and say, yo, how does it feel? And the answer is... Station!
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win at life. I never miss, that's fact. Taking a big swing, bitch, hand me the bat. Put me in the ring, you'll go out in the back. Cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mat like ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took a red pill, I know life's short and I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel?
That's right, PCP Army, how does it feel? I hope it feels good, Ronald. I hope it feels good. When you get together with like minds.
How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Yo, they want to say my name. They want to say my name, but they holding back. They want to say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that fact. I don't feel no shame, it's the mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right, the fuel got me hazy. Back to unpack all these streets I've been chasing.
I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
All right, so we're going to do a little bit of a taste test here. They're back, baby. Frosted Grape Pop-Tarts. Frosted Grape Pop-Tarts. So they did grape Pop-Tarts back in the day. I want to say late 90s, early aughts. I could be mistaken, though, the way time works. I mean, I'm over 40. I'm a man. I'm 40. But Pop-Tarts have Frosted Grape back. And I'm excited as fuck. I haven't been super excited about Pop-Tarts lately. But there have been some good ones. So we opened it up. Let's do it. I mean, I've been ready for this. And I got to give a major shout out to Mike the Voice Matthews, who hooked us up with the Frosted Grape Pop-Tarts. Just going to set it right there. I'm ready. Now, Pop-Tarts can be eaten room temperature, or in a toaster or a microwave, or they can be frozen. I like freezing blueberry Pop-Tarts, and grape seems like one that would be really nice frozen. It smells like grape soda, man. A little uneven distribution of the sprinkles there. But clearly, grape inside. Let's do it. You know, to be honest, grape's a really good flavor for a Pop-Tart, man. What I like about Pop-Tarts, And it's Kellogg's, right? Pop-Tarts like to experiment. Yeah, it's Kellogg's. That's so weird. Because Kellogg's does not like to experiment with their cereal, but they do like to experiment with Pop-Tarts. They've done the Eggo Pop-Tart recently, and that's what's appealing to me, but grape is a great flavor for a Pop-Tart. This would be excellent frozen. I'm going to freeze the other one, and I'm going to have it later, after I watch Sandman. It's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give 4 out of 5 you digs. It's not the greatest Pop-Tart in the world, but it's better than a lot of the others. Yeah, man. Great Pop-Tarts for the win. I can dig it.